we're going to be doing some basic end busting. Probably would have been smart to get some ladders or something, but I guess this is fine. So yeah, let's just start looking around. Am I gonna just get like straight up lucky? That's not only a big end city. Oh, I didn't see the ship, so oh, there's a ship. Yeah, okay, cool. So right off the bat, we found ourselves an end city with a ship inside of it. So we'll get elytra as well as shulker boxes. There's 2 end cities right next to each other with 2 end ships. We're gonna loot this area of shulkers except for the bottom 2, which should be right there. We'll leave those 2 alive. Everything else we're gonna raid. So let's go up. Cool. So we got our first shulker shell. 29 shulker shells. I forgot to bring rockets, but that's okay. The true treasure of this place, the dragon head. 13 shulker boxes that we could use on the ready, which we could then use in order to make bigger projects. Much bigger projects. What's up, my roomies, and welcome back to the technical guide to Minecraft. Now that we got all the shulkers, let's go out and actually get some magma blocks, because we're gonna need it in order to make a gold farm. So let's get to it. Man, this travel over to the warped forest takes so long. I just over lava. Is there no, like, there's one over there. Let's see if I can get over there. Okay, got some nether quartz, magma blocks, netherrack. The hardest part about doing all this is that trying to get enough magma blocks for gold farm takes forever. I mean, there's no really easy way to do this. I haven't found the Hoglin Bastion yet, and so I can't start off a magma farm. It's so weird now, since I connected the technical guide world to multiplayer, to actually see people in this world. It's very strange, considering that I've been playing on this by myself for like over 200 days now. Let's head back. There's a reason why I'm not building the villager farmland. And the reason's quite simple. I don't have any gold, and I am not about to just mine up again for gold. No shot. So we are going to be making a gold farm in order to power up the villager trading hall. But I have an idea for the villager trading hall that I haven't done in the previous season. So now we are really high up, and I just realized that I don't actually have a way to get back down. But there's a reason for this. I am going to start building the gold farm. And first things first, we have to go basically draw the topmost circle in order to ensure that there's not going to be any hostile mobs being able to spawn within this gold farm. And so let's get started. I'm going to knock back down and get my elytra up. So in the event that I do fall, I'm not going to completely get wasted. So first things first, that's going to be the center. This is the highest point of this area. And from here, we're going to build just a small landing platform, just in case we do fall, and we can just rocket back up. Now from the center, you want to go out 24. So that's 1, 2, 23, 24. On the 25th one, we'll put down 1 on each side just to indicate the beginning of the inner ring. Then we want to go back another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just put down 2 more just to indicate that that's the end area. Let's hop back over here, and let's just do the same with all the other ones. What you want to do is from the first one over here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then for the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you want to make 3 sets of 2. So 1, 2. This is the second one, 1, 2. And the third one, 1, 2. Then you want to make 6 sets of 1s. So 1, 1, 1. So now that's 3. 1, 1, that's 5. And this is the last one, 6. So from here, now you want to go down, do that in reverse. So this is 3 sets of 2s. So this is the first set, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then finally, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then one more set of 4. 1, 1, 2, 3. And that's 4. And that's how you make one quadrant. And so let's fill this whole thing out. So from here, you want to go out 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you want to go out 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 2, 1, 2. You want to go out 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 1. Then 2, 1, 2. Then you want to go 7 sets of 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then from here, you want to shift perspective downwards. So now you want to go 2, 1, 2. Then 1, 1. And then you want to go down 3, 1, 2, 3. Now you want to go go down 2, 1, 2, then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's basically how you make a quadrant. So I'm gonna go finish out this ring and then catch back with you later. Quick interruption. I know that only 10% of you actually subscribe to this channel. Watching this long, I must be doing something right, so if you like this video, hit that like button and please subscribe to this channel. Any support helps and these videos take a bit long to make. Thank you so much, and back to the video. So now that we're here, we're gonna fill in these gaps. I built all this and realized that my recording software wasn't recording, so that's not great. I forgot to hit record, but that's fine. More or less, we just filled in the gaps, so you really didn't miss much, but I still wanted the entire build to at least be recorded. Ah well. So from here, you want to go down 2 and then cover that back up, and then from this platform just put down temporary blocks and then go to the other side, and then underneath the ring we're gonna make the rings but with magma blocks. And really, that's all there is to it. Like, this farm is really elegant in how simple it is to do. All you gotta do is just put in the legwork and just get the magma blocks to begin with, but it pays for itself almost immediately. Alright, now that we're back, we're gonna go encase the bottom layer of the ring with glass. That way the zombie piglins can come over to where I am when I start to aggro them.
This is the Jubiline, Rapid Service Stream, Katashikawa. 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 This is the Jubiline, Rapid Service Stream, Katashikawa.
Okay, now that we've completely covered this place with glass, it's time to create the cage in which we will stand in as we watch as a bunch of zombie piglins try to kill us. But don't worry, we'll be, mostly safe. Mostly. Okay, that took way too long to set up. I legitimately forgot how to actually build this thing, so I had to rework it backwards in my head. And so here we are. Next, we're gonna just build a small enclosure for us. Something simple, doesn't have to be that complicated. Obviously in your world you can make it more fashionable, but I'm not. So on the top here, to make sure that nothing will spawn up, we're gonna cover the top with slabs. For obvious reasons, we don't want any mobs to spawn, especially not gas. So let's just cover this top part with slabs. So, if you remember from the Warden Farm episode, we use a game mechanic called entity cramming, in which if more than 25 entities exist in one plane, the game will actively and violently try to get rid of the 26th entity. And since minecarts don't have HP, the thing that'll die is the zombie piglins. Quite quickly, quite horrifically, and quite optimally for you. If you want to learn more about the intricacies of this farm, you can check out Ilmango's gold farm in the description below. Now obviously when you're putting down the minecarts, you're gonna have to be very careful not to get close to it, because you will die quite quickly. Like, no joke, you're gonna die if you touch these things. Okay, now that we got all that in place, let's grab our stuff back. You want to cover up the area and set up staircases. Now the reason why there's a slab here is that when they fall in, the piglins won't be able to jump back out after getting damaged. So we're just gonna set up an area for them to just die in. And I gotta say, this doesn't look half bad. Okay, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look bad. This farm is technically complete, but we can do better for me. And welcome to the Key Core Testing Center, where safety is a concern. Over here we have a comparator. Now basically how a comparator works is that a comparator will compare whatever it's, well, comparing. Well, to put it quite simply, let's say we have this container. This container is full of blocks, and so it gives a maximum output of 15. With this 15, it'll go down and eventually ending up to 0. If we were to take some items out, let's say like that, we reduce it down to 13, and so on and so forth. And depending on the amount that it can hold will dictate how much power you can give out, up to power level of 15. Now let's say you're running a comparator and pretend that this is actually 15, just for the sake of example, and you need to extend its power. So what you can do is set up this formation where you have a repeater going into a block, then have a repeater going out one direction that way, and then having the rest going the other way. And the reason for this is that occasionally you might need a piston. In order to power the piston, in order to power some stuff on the other side, whether it be a piston or some sort of other redstone object, you have a repeater. And with this redstone extension, you could extend that line another 14 blocks, and you could repeat this over and over again, making this a really good comparator extender. And lastly, but not leastly, we're going to look at the comparator item frame, in which case right now it's at max level. Now what if we turn it back down to 0? It goes to power level of 1. Then you turn it up, power level of 2. Turn it up again, power level of 3. And this is showing that the comparator will actually understand that there is a status on the item frame and will adjust power according so, which will be very useful for the enchantment room that we're going to have in the gold farm. Right over here is the stackable item filter. The way that the items can be transported can be through hoppers, it can be through water streams. Right now, for the sake of example, a hopper. Now inside this hopper that is being used with the comparator, you'll notice that there are item filters. Or in this case, we're just using redstone dust. So what you'll see here is that it will actually increase the power to 3, then go down and begin filling this bottom up. Now the reason why it stops at 41 is because it's only able to give a power of 2, and in order to activate the redstone below, this needs to be a power level of 3. It is still able to filter out the items that are going through this specific type. Now the good thing about this design, it's fully tileable, so when you put one next to another, it just works. Now let's say you put an item through the filter that isn't part of cobblestone. So let's say sticky piston. So obviously it's not going to be able to go down because it's being held up by the cobblestone, and so it'll go to the next one, which in this case is this chest. Over here we have the non-stackable item filters. This one is smaller in the design than the stackable item filter. However, this is not stackable. It can only exist on its own, and there has to be at least one block gap between that and the next module. But this being a non-stackable item filter, you typically only need one per filter. So let's say we put in an item that is stackable. So let's grab us some cobblestone and I'll show you what happens. That it'll go over here. And that's because for every single cobblestone that goes through this, it can only get 1, meaning it's not able to grab multiple items more than just the single one. So this is going on and on and on until it finally, all 64 comes back to me. Now what happens if we were to take an item that is not able to be stacked? If we were to put down a non-stackable item on the top, what'll happen is that this will get power to 3, thus turning off this redstone torch, unlock this hopper, and you'll see that the wooden sword comes out at the bottom. And that's more or less all the different redstone components that we're going to be using here in the gold farm. Okay, so I just got back from AFKing and realizing after going through the footage that the footage of me actually building this area was lost. But we'll go over each section so that I can better explain to you what the purpose is, why I built it, and why it is the way it is. Ignore that grammar, just let's get into it. So first things first is the one on the right. We have our adjustable enchantment table. I've been meaning to have one for a while. I just didn't know where exactly to put it. I figured right over here would be pretty good. So how this works is that the comparator will adjust according to where the arrow is pointing at. So currently it's at its standard place. Now, if we look back here, you'll see that it's giving a power of 1. It's set power. But if we turn the dial, you'll notice that it has increased a power of 1. Do it again, power of 3, 2, 1. And that's how more or less this moves. Now, when it gets to over here, when this repeater goes through, it'll actually power both of these. So if we power one more time, it'll push both of them forward. And then we keep turning the dial, and soon more and more come in. Now, why would you want something like this in your world? Well, simply put, there's no way to actually change the enchantment table's enchantments when you have maximum amount of books. In this case, you only need 15 to have maximum numbers. But what you can do is modulate the enchantments that you get based on the amount of bookcases that you have. Let me demonstrate. We'll take a book right over here, grab some lapis lazuli, and let's max out the enchantment dial so that all the bookcases are now powered. So if we look at this, the maximum enchantment you can get is power 4. No matter where in the world you are, that enchantment will always be power 4. But what you can do is modulate the enchantment power of the enchantment table simply by adjusting the bookcases that are around it. If we reset this, power 4 now becomes loyalty 2. Now, the obvious downside is that because we're decreasing the enchantment level that the enchantment table can possess, it also inherently means that you might get weaker enchantments. The reason why we want to modulate enchantment level is to draw out different kinds of enchantments that you can afford from the enchantment table, and in the early game, this might be the best way to do it. Now, obviously, there's going to be some cases where it repeats, and that's sort of unavoidable. I mean, there are only so many enchantments that Minecraft has. And that's more or less why I built this thing. Because remember, now we're in an SMP setting. Not everyone's going to play like I do. Some people won't have a villager hall, and some people just want to do it themselves, but don't really want to set up one of this place in their own base. And so this is what this is for. In the center over here, we have the collection area. Now, unfortunately, again, and I wish it wasn't the case, I flat out ran out of space. And so the recording did not record because, yeah, I lost it, which sucks. But we'll go into the intricacies of how this actually works. So you already saw this area is the cage in which those corner zombie piglins will actually keep aggro on you because they are seeing you, and as long as you don't kill them, they will always remain there. Now, because they're in minecarts, they won't ever despawn. Since those are persistent, they will always keep aggro on you until you leave this spot. So if we go down real quick, you'll see that there are hopper minecarts right here. Now, the hopper minecarts will actually be able to draw whatever items there are right above it. So in this case, that is the entity cramming minecarts, and when they kill the zombie piglins, they'll get sapped into this hopper minecart. From the hopper minecart will then immediately go into a non-stackable filter. Now, how the non-stackable filter works is that when this hopper holds, let's say, gold swords, it'll give a power of 4. Now, if you look over here, you'll notice that there is no power going over here. When a single block goes through that comparator, it'll only give a power level of 1. And so it does not turn off that redstone torch. But when an iron sword, and let's pretend this is a gold sword, it'll give a power level of 3, making this turn off, thus depowering that repeater and unlock this hopper, meaning that the gold sword will then get sucked down into this barrel, which will then get sucked down to that barrel. Then when this barrel goes down to this hopper and then eventually to this dropper, and I need to stand back, the comparator will then signal that there is items inside the comparator, which will then push the observer up. When two observers observe each other, it creates a really fast zero tick. The zero tick pulse will then power the dropper, will then drop the items into this lava cauldron, thus destroying them. Going back to over here, let's say it is a single item. The single item, no matter which one of these go through, because they all have the single item filter for themselves, will then go into this chest, or I guess that chest right here, and then will get sent through this sorting array. Now, if you've ever dabbled in a bit of redstone, you'll know more or less how this works. But for those of you that don't understand, or at least don't know how to set up a basic item array, here's how you do it. And really, that's all there is to it. So enjoy the time lapse of me in the past AFKing in this farm for about 8 hours. Well, my roomies, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more, and I will see you all next time. But until then, I've been your #1 and most humble host, Kigurumi. Bye-bye.